Well, let's take a moment now to come to our seat. And if you want to be up on a cushion or in a chair, whatever's most comfortable. And we'll just sit up nice and tall through the center line of the body. So just feeling that little lift through your crown. And as you feel that lift through the crown, feel your shoulders drop away from your ears. You might tip your chin just a little bit so you can feel length in the back of your neck. So we tend to be looking all the time, right? Have our head kind of forward and our neck crunched up. So when we lift through the crown and we drop the chin, we create space through the back of the neck. Good. Your hands can rest on your knees or folded in your lap. And when you feel settled in your posture, let your eyes close. And just take a moment now to feel your body this morning. Get a sense of how you're holding yourself. And notice that you can still sit up nice and tall without tension. So maintaining this nice posture, start to relax through your upper back. Relax down the lengths of your arms. Smooth out the forehead and the space around the eyes. Relax the jaw, allow the teeth to part just a little bit. Feel the place where your sit bones touch your seat, so whether it's your cushion or your chair. And to start to settle your weight down into that seat. And then start to let go of the abdomen. So any holding or gripping in the abdominal muscles. And as the belly softens, start to notice the movement of your breath. So can you inhale and expand through the belly, the sides of the waist? Maybe you can feel this breath moving into your lower back. And as you exhale, feel the whole area around the navel soften. Let go just a little bit. Let's try to grow that breath. So when you're at the top of your inhalation, see if you can bring in just a little bit more breath. And then when you think you've exhaled completely, see if you can draw your belly in and let out just a little more breath. So it's growing the inhalation and the exhalation. And then it's up to you. You can keep your eyes closed if you like, or if you want to softly open them, we're going to do alternate shoulder rolls. So we'll bring the right shoulder up to the ear and press back as the left shoulder moves forward. And then just start to roll the shoulders. And keeping the arms soft. And then we'll continue this alternate shoulder roll, but now we're going to roll forward. And it might feel a little bit like swimming, all right? So what do your shoulders do when you're doing the front crawl? And then we'll drop both shoulders, bring them both up to the ears, and now moving together. Back, down, forward, and up. So nice and slow, working into any tightness. And inhaling on the way up and back, exhaling down and through. More nice big movement. And then let's relax the shoulders. Let the hands again come to resting. Breastbone stays lifted. And we'll release the weight of the head. So nice and slow, drop your head. And then let's roll the right ear towards the right shoulder. And the chin back to the chest. Left ear to left shoulder. Chin back to the chest. Good. So just making these little half circles. And if it feels good in your body, you can move into a full circle. And as you're moving, think about shoulders down. And we'll do about 3 circles in each direction. So when you're ready, you can switch. And then the next time your chin is dropped down by your chest, we'll lift the head back up to neutral. Okay, now we're going to bring the arms up into cactus arms. We have a nice 90-degree bend there at the elbow. Again, shoulders aren't here, they're here. And then imagine that someone's pressing your 2 hands and bringing your arms back. So the chest opens, shoulder blades slide together. Stay here. And then we're going to bring the arms in front of the body, the right arm on top of the left arm, and to see if you can find your shoulder blades. You'll kind of walk the hands. If you want to do eagle, you can do eagle here too. Same effect. Eagle arms or self hug. If you're in the self hug, you're going to walk back and see if you can kind of get a hold of your shoulder blades. And then let's all drop our heads, relax our shoulders. If it feels good, you can squeeze your shoulders forward a little bit. So really opening up across the upper back. And now see if you can feel in your body the space between your shoulder blades. So you're right in the center of your upper back. And imagine the inhalation is traveling into the upper back. And then the exhalation is leaving that same space. So when you inhale in, you create space. And when you exhale out, you create ease. So maybe even feel a little bit like your hands are holding your shoulder blades. And then let's come back to our goal pose. So nice and slow, we're unwinding, we're coming back. And again, opening the chest, so elbows move back, heart opens. And this time the left arm will be on top. So let's bring the arms over in front of the body and wind and hold shoulder blades, or again, eagle arms is fine. And then walk your fingertips back so you can kind of get a hold of your upper back. When you're there, relax your shoulders, drop your head. Again, if it feels good, if you want a little bit more from this, you can draw your shoulders towards one another in front. And nice big breaths into the upper back. And then inhale, cactus arms. Shoulder blades together, open the chest. And then bring your hands back down to your knees. We're going to undulate the spine, so let's press forward. Draw out to the side and back. Your side and forward. So nice and easy. And then we can roll the other way. And next we'll work with complete breath. So complete breath means taking in as much breath as you can and exhaling completely. So we're again sitting up tall. Interlace the fingers, bring the hands underneath the chin. As you inhale through the nose now, start to fill your belly. Fill the sides of your waist. And as you start to fill your chest, again, the elbows lift, shoulder blades slide together, look up. And when the lungs are full, exhaling, Emptying the chest, elbows are dropping. And as you empty your belly, squeeze the navel in. So draw the navel in towards the spine, exhale completely. Good. And keep going for 4 more. And just remembering that we inhale from bottom to top, just like filling a barrel. And we exhale from top to bottom. And to see if the movement of your spine can mirror that breath. Slow exhale. And keep going. And when you get to the bottom of your next breath, you can release your hands, move your shoulders around a little bit. And now we're going to take the heels of our hands, bring them to the forehead. And let's just press in and draw circles. And you can work out towards the sides of your head, down towards your eyebrows, towards the hairlines, working out any tension in the forehead muscles. And then we can take the pointer finger and middle finger of each hand, place them between the eyebrows, press in and drag the fingers down the sides of the nose, out across the cheekbones to the soft spot in the ear. Let's just do that 2 or 3 times. And then our last seated thing is we're going to do 2 Taoist breaths. So if you're comfortable where you are, you can stay where you are. If you can kneel or kneel assisted, we'll come to kneeling. So kneeling is a good posture to be in if it works. If it causes pain, it's not. So if you have great knees, just kneel without any support. And if you need a little support, bolster is great. You can bring it between your legs and just kind of sit back on it.
Up or sitting?
We're going to try to kneel down. So one option is this. I'm just kind of straddling my bolster. If you need more space in your knees, you can bring the bolster right across your low legs. So I'm kind of sitting up here. This looks like it's this from the side. So this is assuming it's a knee issue. If it's more your ankles, sometimes it's the ankles that are straining in this position. A cushion or rolled blanket can also come under the ankle joint. So kneeling is one of those things where if you shouldn't do it, don't. But if it's just a little uncomfortable, it can actually be good because it does stretch the tendons that come over the knees. So in a controlled environment, we can do a little kneeling. We're either in easy pose or in whatever seated position is good, or we're kneeling. And we're going to bring the hands to the heart. And let's inhale. Into the palms of the hands come behind the head. Exhale, press out. Fingertips come to the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades together. Inhale, look up. And then exhale, round the back, draw the navel in. Inhale, nice and tall, lift your heart, little back bend. And then as we come forward, exhale, bring your hands to the floor. Drop your head, relax your shoulders. And then draw the navel in, restack the spine. And one more, inhale. Exhale, press out. Fingers to the shoulders, breathe into the heart, inhale. Exhale, round the back, push out. Inhale, nice and tall, little back bend. And then exhale, come forward, hands to the floor, or if you're in the chair, hands to your legs. And let's drop the head and shoulders. And just taking a few resting breaths here. Draw the navel in. And let's come back nice and slow, rolling up to neutral. Okay, we're going to come down onto the floor now. So if you want to lie down on your back, you want a little cushion under your head, you can bring that with you. And just have your block where you can reach it. We won't use it right away. Good. So as you come down onto the floor, we can do a few little things to make our presence on the floor more comfortable. And one is press into your elbows and slide your shoulder blades together. And so some of the same things you think about whether you're standing or sitting as well. And then we might press down into our feet. So we have our knees bent, feet on the floor, and let's pick up the pelvis and then roll out the low back. So that just means dropping the spine vertebra by vertebra and just taking some of that arch out of the low back. You might pick up the head and look at our knees. And then just as your head is now, place it back on the floor. Okay. See if the back of the neck feels longer. And then your fingers can become spiders. And let's see if they can take one step away from your head. Taking one step towards your feet. And then we're going to gently fan the knees. So we've been seated for a while. The low back might be a little bit tight. Right? Low back works hard to stabilize us in a seated position. So start with a nice little fan, and as it starts to feel better, the knees might drop a little more deeply. And the next time the knees drop right, we're going to stay there. So just let your legs be heavy. You might pick up your head and turn and look left and place your head back on the floor. Okay. So recline twist. Relax your shoulders. And just let your legs be heavy. They may be on the floor. They may be hovering. And just go in your body to the places that feel a little tight here. Might be somewhere in your low back or in your waist, outer hip. And just bring your attention and your breath to those spaces. Good. And then lift your head, look back at the ceiling, head down. Nice and slow. Let's bring the knees back to the ceiling, rolling across the back of the pelvis. And the knees release left. Good. Pick up your head, turn and look to your right now, and place the head back on the floor. And again, bringing attention to wherever you feel gripping tension in the side body. And let your shoulders be heavy. Let your knees be heavy. And lift your head back to neutral. Knees tip back up to the ceiling, and we'll come to a wind reliever position. So bring your thighs in towards your belly. Hands wrap around the kneecaps, and we'll squeeze the legs in. And then if it feels okay, we're going to try looking between our knees, but don't think about lifting your head. Instead, think about lifting your rib cage. So I'm going to lift my rib cage and look between my knees. Okay. Hold for 3. Good. And then place your chest back on the floor and then your head. feet down. And we'll bring the legs out nice and long. And bring your attention down into your feet. And let's flex the feet, press through the heels, and then point the toes. Good. And flex and point. Good. We're going to try doing opposite feet. So right now, think about your right toes are flexed and spread, and you're pressing through your right heel, and you're pointing your left toe. And now let's switch. Point the right big toe, flex the left foot. And switch. Okay, so keep going from side to side. One foot is pointed, the other is flexed. And we'll roll the ankle joint. So relax your feet, big toes look at the ceiling, and start to draw a circle. Just rolling out the ankle joints. And switch directions. Okay. And we'll bring our arms to the floor above our head. Let the back of your hands rest. Elbows are a little bent. And then we're going to stretch the right side of the body. So right fingertips reach, right heel presses, nice and long. And then relax, and left fingertips reach, left heel presses. And relax. So now just keep switching from side to side. And remembering to keep the neck neutral. Good, full body stretch. Both hands reach, both heels press, wiggle your fingers and toes. And then let's bring the arms back alongside. Okay, we're going to do our side bends now, so half moon pose. Interlacing the fingers, bringing the hands behind the head. And let's lift the head, lift the rib cage. And side bend right, place your head down. Good. And then just take your right heel about an inch right, and the left leg over to meet it. As you come into your C position, notice where you feel this, and if it's your lower back, walk your heels a little more towards center. We'll try to find that sweet spot where sensation is in the left side body. And then just exploring that with your attention. If you make your arms heavy, if you make your head heavy in your hands, where do you feel this the most? It could be your shoulder, it could be your rib cage, could be in the side of the waist or outer hip. And as your attention pinpoints those spots in you where sensation is strongest, see if you can direct the breath in and out of those places. So the inhalation stretches and the exhalation releases tension. Okay, let's walk the heels back to center. Head and shoulders lift and come back to center. If you'd like to take your hands out for a minute, you can wiggle your fingers, move your wrists. And then we'll place the hands back behind the head. Head and shoulders lift. Head and shoulders slide left and come back to the floor. And take little steps now with the heels to your left, opening up the right side body. And when you found the perfect place, we'll stay there. Again, relax the weight of your limbs, the weight of your head. And now start to look at your right side body with your attention. From the inside, what do you feel? And if you find any places that feel a little tight or sticky, you can direct the breath to those spaces. And then the head and shoulders lift up, come back to neutral, walk your heels back to neutral. And we'll take our hands out from behind the head and just holding your hands over your body. Point your fingers point at the ceiling. And we'll draw circles on the ceiling. Nice and easy movement through the wrist joints. One way, and then the other way. And we'll do the same movement, but now we're going to do it with claws. So make your lion claws and make your hands tense. All right, so we're holding the hands tense like you're gripping onto a softball or a grapefruit really tight. And then with these claws, nice slow circles through the wrist joints. And switch direction. And then fists with the hands and drop your fists. And then let's relax the hands. We'll bring the hands back alongside. We're going to do 3 lion breaths. So it's kind of nice to do these laying on your back because no one can see you. So I think everyone knows lion breath. What you're going to do is take a big inhale into your belly, and then you're going to exhale hard out your mouth. When you exhale hard and loud out your mouth, you're going to stick out your tongue as far as it goes and look up at your forehead. Okay. So it'll be a nice release of any tension from the face. Okay. So when you're ready, take a nice big inhale into your belly. Relax your face. Inhale again, fill the abdomen. Inhale, fill the abdomen. That's one of those yoga moves that makes you smile. Right? Okay, let's bend the knees now and bring the feet to the floor again. Lift your pelvis, roll out your low back. We're going to do some leg lifts. So let's bring the right leg now straight out on the floor and point the toe. Bring your knee in towards your belly. Straighten your leg up towards the ceiling. Flex your foot and lower your leg. So let's point your toe, knee in, leg straight, and flex and lower. Now we're going to try to time this to the breath. Inhale, knee in, knee straight, exhale and lower. Good. So let's see if we can do 5 more and you can time it to your breath. And that's the trick. We're trying to follow the breath rather than have the breath follow the movement. So if you're nice and relaxed, it'll be a rather slow movement. And just feel that as you're coming down, you're reaching out through the heel. So a nice long leg. And feel the strength in your leg muscles that are lowering your legs slowly with control. Okay, so we're not just dropping the leg, but we're kind of resisting, lowering, 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 touch. And now this time when you're up in the air, we're going to stay there for a moment. So flex your foot like you're going to lower, but we'll hold. And then the hands can come up and support the leg. So wherever your hands land naturally, could be behind your thigh, your knee, your calf. And we'll just draw the leg towards us a little bit. So put a little bit of weight into the back of the thigh or the back of the calf. And as best you can, keep the toes flexed, push through your heel. And just feeling those hamstrings, calf muscles. Take a nice big inhalation. And then release the leg, exhale, slow heel down to the floor. Good. Okay, let's bend the right knee, left foot on the floor. Bring your left leg long, point your toes. And then when you're ready, inhale, knee in, leg straight, flex your foot, exhale and lower. Good. Point your toes, knee in, knee up, exhale and lower. Okay. Again, 5 more, working with your breath. Nice controlled movement. If your leg is heavy, it would be way easier to just drop it, right? That resistance that builds strength in the leg. And just feel the place too, where your lower back and the back of your pelvis touch the floor. And if you think about that place at the pelvic center, right? So keep moving. There's that place where when we were doing our isometric squeezing was between the navel and the pelvic floor. So as you're lowering your leg, think about activating that spot a little bit. So as the leg is lowering, see if you can draw your pelvic center in, just a little squeeze for stabilization. Okay, bend both knees, feet are on the floor. And now we're going to try to do this 4 times with both legs. And we're going to support our lower back by bringing our hands underneath our pelvis. If you know this is not good for your lower back or for your abdominal muscles, instead, do 2 more on the right, 2 more on the left. Okay, so that's a good variation too. You're thinking about doing both legs. Let's lift the hips and scoot the hands underneath the pelvis. And my hands are kind of hugging me. All right, that's giving me some stabilization. Okay, so 2 on the right, 2 on the left, or draw both knees in, straighten both legs to the ceiling, flex the feet, and lower with control. And lowering with control is going to mean drawing in the pelvic center as best you can. And so in martial arts, they call that the Dantian, right? It's the low abs, and there's a little powerhouse in there that stabilizes your core. So drawing my pelvic center in, hugging it, squeezing it. The more we can move through our day with activation there, the more we can stabilize the body. Right. Our poor legs aren't doing everything. One more. Squeeze, ground the sacrum, come on down. Okay. And when the legs are down on the floor, we can take our hands out from underneath our pelvis if they're there. And again, just give yourself a nice full body stretch. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And we're going to draw back up into a wind reliever, this time with the knees open. So instead of bringing your knees to your navel, bring them to your two hips so the legs are open. It might feel good here to roll. We're going to try again, lifting the rib cage for a count of 3. So when you're ready, pick up your rib cage and look between your knees at your feet, and we'll hold for 3. And then roll the upper back down, head down, feet down. Good. And relax a little bit by tipping the knees from side to side. Okay, and now let's find that block. And we're going to put the block between our knees. So whether it goes the wide way or the short way depends on your hips, right? So what feels better between the knees? If it's wide, your knees will be a little bit further apart, or you can have it a little bit more narrow. So for me, I like the wide part facing forward. And then just squeeze your block a little bit with your knees so it doesn't fall. There's a little pressure there on the block. And we're going to exhale. As you exhale, draw your belly in, lift your knees. Good. Toes are spread, heels are pushing out. And then drop. So let's do 5. Exhale, squeeze in, lift the legs. Inhale, come down. It doesn't need to be a huge movement. Nice and slow. Heels touch. And lift. Okay. And the next time the heels come down, we'll relax. So we want to take the block out for a moment. And your knees. Good. So we're going to do one more thing, and that's the figure 8. So one more thing for core stabilization. And we'll be doing movement just like this, but then we'll be rolling out to the sides and drawing a figure 8 with our block. If your low back is tweaky, you might want your hands under your pelvis again to give you that extra support. So that can just be nice and stabilizing or not. So put your block back in position. Again, you're on your heels, toes are flexed. If you want your arms in to support your pelvis, bring your arms in close to your body. And then let's draw the block into the navel and fan out to the left. Draw a circle. Knee up the center line and fan out to the right. Draw a circle. Good. Knees up and around. Knees up and around. That's 2. Let's make 2 more 8s. Okay. Make sure your sacrum stays in contact with the floor. And you can notice too, as you start to activate the navel area, you might be getting warm. Okay. Next time the knees come up, take your block out, feet to the floor, and full body stretch. Goes overhead, legs long, wiggle your fingers and toes and reach. Good. And then arms back alongside. Bend your knees, feet to the floor. Let's pick up the pelvis and once again, roll out your low back. And then bring your legs touching. So inner knees are touching, big toes are touching. And we're going to let the legs open up into a butterfly. So nice and slow, release your knees, bring the soles of your feet together. And if your legs are okay floating in space, you can stay just as you are. If there's a lot of pulling in the groin muscles and her thigh muscles, let your hands come underneath your thighs and just give you a little support from below. You can do that, or you can also wedge it. And so grab a block for each hip joint. And then if your legs are okay unsupported, you can do a butterfly position with your hands as well. For the upper body, we touch the thumb and pointer finger and make a diamond. And then we place the thumbs on the crown of the head. The hands are on the floor. Let your hands be on the floor. A relaxed position. And from here, the elbows drop open, mirroring your knees. And your eyes are gently closed if that's okay. And just feel the front of your body wide open. So very easy to breathe here. Feel the breath move in through your nose and travel down the body to the root. Yeah, exhale from the root back up and out through the nose. I call this the yin breath, and it's a little different from what we usually do. Or inhaling down the body, exhaling up the body. And we'll stay here for about 5 more breaths. If either the stretching in your shoulders or in your legs gets to be too much, just close a little bit. A little clam. Or if it's starting to feel easier, maybe the knees drop a little, the elbows ground a little. And then take a nice big inhalation and see if you can close your elbows and knees in unison. So as you're exhaling, your knees are closing and your elbows are closing. And now we're going to open and close 3 times with a lot of control. So as you inhale, let your elbows drop open, your knees drop open. You're fully back in your reclined butterfly. And as you exhale, knees, elbows together, close. Keep going for 2 more. And let your focus be on the knees and the elbows mirroring each other. And the next time you're closed, let's stay closed. And now we're going to even squeeze closed a little bit. So squeeze your glutes, see if you can hug your legs into each other. Squeeze your thighs, squeeze your calves. Press your elbows towards one another. Then squeeze biceps, forearms, hands. Tightly close. Keep breathing. And relax. And now we're going to flip over onto our bellies. Good. So come on over onto your belly, and we're going to have our arms in the cobra position. So that means palms are down on either side of your rib cage, elbows are up, and we're resting on the forehead. So we'll do a little work now for upper back strength. And what we're going to do is to, again, ground the pelvis. So again, think about that space of your pelvic chakra. And when you lift your head, think about lifting your rib cage instead of lifting your head. And you're going to squeeze your glutes and see if you can ground that second chakra. So squeeze your glutes, ground the pelvic chakra, lift your rib cage, look left. And then with control, set your body back down. Exhale, squeeze the glutes, ground the second center, lift and look over your right shoulder. And with control, inhaling, come back to the forehead. Okay, so let's keep going. Exhale, squeeze and lift, look left. Inhale with control, set yourself down. Exhale and squeeze and lift, look right. Inhale and come down. Good, keep going. And so we can avoid tension in the neck if it's the rib cage that's lifting us. Our upper back muscles. And feel that your neck is kind of free to move. Let's go each way one more time. And then place your forehead back on the mat. Resting for a moment. And we're going to bring our arms straight alongside. And we're going to practice our Superman move or downward facing boat. So from here, again, ground that second center by squeezing your buttocks, point your toes, and then just see if you can bring your legs up off the mat at all. Let's lift the rib cage, neck and head. Yeah, this is okay. You might lift your arms too. So reach through your fingertips, reach through your toes for the back of your room. Keep your neck long and we'll hold for 5. And then come down to relaxing on the right cheek. So gently place yourself back down on your mat, right cheek. And back to your forehead. Now let's do it again. So when you're ready, squeeze the buttocks, ground the pelvis, point through your toes, see if the legs can lift up. And then lift your rib cage, reach through your fingers. Okay, kind of balancing right on the pelvis. Don't hold your breath. And then with all control, place yourself back on the ground, left cheek. Yeah. Free up the low back a little bit by bending at the knee, pointing your big toes up at the ceiling, and then just windshield wipering your legs. The low legs drop right, drop left. Good. And then bring your legs back to the floor, back to neutral, and we're going to push up into either a closed or open child's pose, whichever variation you like better. So hands are on either side of your rib cage, nice and strong, push up, and sit bones back. Yeah. So resting here on the forehead, and just feel that nice length that is created in the lower back in your child's pose. And then walk your hands back towards your body. And we're going to go through 2 rounds of our mini sun salutations. So when you're ready, we're kneeling up and we're turning the toes under for just a minute. So we'll take a rabbit stretch. This is a stretch for your toes. Toes are turned under. If it's okay, you can lean back into them a little bit. If that's too much on the toes, then just stay upright. And then neutral feet. It's big inhalation. Bring your palms together. So the heart. So feeling your position now, long through the center line of the body. Little lift through the crown. Inhale, drop the arms, reach up. And now look at the space between your hands and imagine you can lift your heart into that space. The bones come back and we're coming to an extended child's pose, nice and long. Good. And then forward and dropping down into our cat position, our cow position. Sorry. Squeeze up into cat. Release down into cow. And then with a flat back, turn your toes under. We're going to come up into down dog. And once you're up and down dog, you can do whatever feels good here. Maybe nothing feels good here. You can pedal your heels, lift your sit bones, wag your tail. Pushing that floor away with your hands, nice long back. And then we'll drop back down onto our knees, straighten the ankles, and you can either come to cow again, or if you like supported cobra, hands take one step forward. Pelvis drops. Look. In yoga, we call this a seal pose. And then sit bones back, extended child's pose. And then walk your hands back towards your bodies. You can come back up on your knees and inhale. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, and now we're going to see if we can clip through this right along with our breath. If you know it, you don't need to follow me. Okay, so inhale, drop your hands, reach up. Exhale, extended child's pose, slide your hands out. Come forward and drop into cow, inhale. Squeeze up into cat, exhale. Release down into cow, inhale. Neutral spine, toes under, lift up, down dog, exhale. Drop your knees, straighten your ankles, walk your hands, seal pose, inhale. Sit bones back, exhale, extended child's pose. Lift up onto your knees, inhale, swoop the arms, touch the palms. Exhale, hands to the heart. Just resting here for a moment. Okay, now we're gonna come all the way up onto our feet. We're halfway there. Okay, and just find your mountain pose. We're gonna practice coming up onto our toes. This is ankle and foot strength and balance, of course. So find some place on your wall or floor to focus your gaze. And then let's inhale and just see if you can lift up. And exhale, come down. Challenge you a little bit. Let's try to do 5. Inhale, lift up. Come down. Good. And if the arms are a little too much, you can always do this. Keep going. Just by holding something and just rising up onto your feet. So you can do a nice foot focused one, right? It's just rising up and down like this as well. The arms just make it extra hard. And last one, when you get to the top, so you can hold there, ground your big toe. Feel the mound of the big toe press in. And then heels down. a slightly wider stance. And if you want to find your block, we're going to set it tall way. And we'll be facing our block. So you might want to be on the long end of your mat. This is our last big posture here. We're going to do a couple of windmills. So take a wider stance. And we're going to come to our squatting legs, which means the thighs open. Externally rotate just a little bit so your toes are kind of looking at your short corners. And let's just do a couple little squats here. Beneath. And now we're going to interlace the fingers and place them on the sacrum so they're resting on the back of your pelvis. And think about hinging at your hip joint. So you're just moving here, nowhere else. Tip over your block, look at your block. When your body stops, bend your knees, however much is comfortable, and tip your body back up and straighten your legs. Do that 4 times. Tip out over your block, bend your knees, tip back up, straighten your legs. Okay, so this time when you tip forward, we're going to stay there and you're looking at your block. Let's see if we can release our hands, and however much you need to bend your knees, to put the heels of your hands on the block. So just like that, heels of the hands on the block. And just take a moment to feel steady. If you want your block a little lower, you can go long ways. And then we'll straighten the knees as much as we can comfortably. So maybe you're keeping your knees pretty bent. That's totally fine. Maybe the knees are 99% straight. And when you feel steady, we're going to take the left hand off the brick and place it up in the low back. Again, feel steady here. And then we're going to turn the belly left, the chest left, and look left. Okay, you can stay just like this. If you feel balanced, you might take your left arm up. Hold for 5. So let your hand on the block, push the block away so you're not kind of crunched down into it, but tall. Like if I grabbed your block, you wouldn't fall. Okay. And then let's close nice and slow. Again, let's control. Both hands are on the block. And if you want to do a couple little knee bends here, you can. And now the left hand is firmly on the block. Right hand comes off and slides into the lower back. Okay. Make sure you're balanced before you move. And then your belly turns right, just turns right, and your gaze is right. Yeah. Again, if you feel balanced here, maybe the right arm comes up. And 5 breaths. And see if you can grow tall from hand to hand. Almost like there was a thread up on the ceiling connected to your right fingertips, lifting you towards the ceiling. And then nice and slow, let's bring that hand back to the block. Good, both hands are on the block. Now let's do a little bit of lunging. So we're just bending opposite knees. Slide your pelvis right and left. Be a little movement, could be a big movement. It feels good. We're going to be hinging our way back up. So when you're ready, bring your spine back to neutral over your block. A little bit of softness in your knees, a little bend there. And then see if you can interlace your fingers, place them on the back of your pelvis. Nice strong legs. And we're tipping back up. Step back to neutral feet. We're going to do 3 rounds of Agni Sara, and then we'll come down for relaxation. Okay. So one thing that might be interesting if you haven't done it is to put your low back against a wall, or actually the back of your pelvis while you do this. Right. So usually we're doing Agni Sara and we're out in the room, right? So a lot of weight is coming through our shoulders and arms, supporting the upper body. So it's kind of fun to do this with some help. So you're just gonna take the back of your pelvis, place it on the wall, and there's a little softness in your knees. You're not in a chair. And then when you lean over, you can push your pelvis back into the wall. Okay, good. So when you're ready, take a nice big inhale and relax. And then as you exhale, lift and squeeze your pelvic floor. Draw your second center, your low abs in. Draw your navel in. As you inhale, release the navel, low abdomen, pelvic floor. And two more. You're done. You can come back to standing. Okay, well now we're gonna come down for our final relaxation. So set up your Shavasana position, however is comfortable for you. Pushing under the head. You're cold. We got a lot of nice sun in here now, so there's no lights to turn off. Good. And making the little adjustments you need to be comfortable. So you worked hard today. It should feel good to lay down. So we're starting to sneak a little bit more strengthening into our hatha classes now. So just looking at all the wonderful ways we can support our joints. All right, we did that in yin yoga with really long, deep stretching. All right, so being in a effortless pose, maybe an uncomfortable pose, but an effortless pose over a long time. Now we're kind of looking at, that's the yin, the yang that is also available in our yoga practice of strengthening the muscles that support the joints. All right, so it's a wonderful, wonderful practice where we can do both. And so when it's time to lay down, sometimes at the end of a yin class, when we lay down, you're already there, right? They're already kind of spacey and meditative, right? The end of a stronger hatha class, it feels wonderful to let the floor hold you. So let go. And you might have that sense that the floor rises up and the body sinks in. And it's interesting because you're not really doing anything physical when I ask you to let the floor hold you. All right, if someone was looking at you, they wouldn't see anything. But the mental switch that happens when you release that internal tension feels very different. Right, so it's really a mental action when we release to the floor. And you might feel this as a softening through all the joints in your body. Now, in your next inhalation, we're going to work with the in breath a little bit. Feel the inhalation move down through the crown of your head to your heart. And then exhale from your heart up and out through the crown. And you're drawing from this universal energy source that surrounds us all, drawing fresh energy right through the crown of your head, down through the center of your skull, down the throat, and filling the center of the chest. And just very softly exhaling up that same line. And now draw your next inhalation through the crown of your head down to your navel center. At the navel center, feel direction change and exhale up, out through the crown of your head. And just feel that the fresh energy coming down through the body is cool and bright. It's clarifying, energizing. Almost like you're charging, right? And now again, think of that second chakra. We were bringing our attention here a few times during class. Okay, so it's the pelvic center. It's the second chakra. It's the dantian. And now see if you can inhale through the crown of your head and bring your breath all the way down to the space between your hips. And then just release and let the exhale flow back up and out through the head. And we feel that the inhalation is active. We're drawing that breath down. And feel that your exhale is passive. So as you release after your inhale, it just kind of bounces and travels back up the body, effortless. And now, however you're doing this, see if you can slow it down by 10%. So both the inhale and the exhale under your control are 10% slower. If this feels easy, your next inhalation travels in through the crown of your head, moves all the way down the body to your root, to the pelvic floor. And the exhale moves back up and out through the head. And now fix your attention on the space between your eyebrows. And feel that the breath is moving in and out of this one point. On the inhalation, feel energy move in between the eyebrows. And as you exhale, feel energy move out. See if you can relax your eyes more deeply. Soften your forehead. And draw energy into the space of the mind. Exhale out and relax. And you might start to hear the mantra. So as you draw the inhalation through your eyebrow center, here. So. And as the exhale flows effortlessly out through the eyebrow center, here. So. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. And now allow the sound of the mantra to go. And return to your normal breath. I'm going to take a few deep breaths. And wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Become again aware of the room around you, the sounds around you. And when you feel ready to move, you can roll to your side and start to make your way up to your seated position. Warm your palms. When the hands feel nice and warm, cup them over your eyes. And allow your eyes to slowly open to the darkness of your hands. And you can take your hands away when you feel ready. Thank you all so much. Namaste. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste. My pleasure. Have a wonderful week and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. My daughter's on her way home right now. She'll be here by around 2 o'clock.
And is your son coming too?
No, he's been at Thanksgiving with my dad in
Oh, that's
Florida,
okay.
but I get him for Christmas. Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, really a lot, because my aunt moved down there too, so my aunt, uncle, one cousin, my sister, my dad, it's like.
All on the west coast or the east?
Yeah,
coast?
yeah, and my sister's in Riverview, which is a suburb of Tampa, and they go right down to Venice, so through Sarasota to Venice. But then my brother's in Vermont and he's coming to Buffalo, so
Oh.
my brother's family will be here Tuesday. So, Laura, you found the code okay?
Yes, thank you. No,
I saw your email just as we were starting. I'm like, I hope you.
it pops up. I don't know why I fret about it each time, but I like to make sure I've got it. No, I just got this hideous cough still, so I occasionally explode, which isn't very polite in a class.
Yeah.
But that was a lovely class. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too.
You all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tracy. It was awesome. Thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy your family.